All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 357 SIG test. Today we're going to be doing Underwood versus DoubleTap. So for the Underwood, that one is the 124 grain Nosler. There's what that one looks like. It does have your nickel-plated brass. It's rated at 1,475 feet per second. So as of this video, as of today, Underwood is no longer loading the Nosler bullet for the 124 grain line. They actually replaced it with the 124 grain XTP. So that test will be coming very soon. So for a DoubleTap, that one is the 125 grain bonded defense. That one has your standard brass case and is rated 1,525 feet per second. So we'll see how close we come today. So even though this one is a bonded round, it definitely doesn't act like it. They are very similar in the gel. So I figured this will be a perfect one to go head to head. So we'll be testing out of our full-size Glock 31. That one does have that 4.5-inch barrel. We'll be going through our gel. That is a 10% block. We do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton tissue on the front, and like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be that 124 grain Underwood. All right, we're still at 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1502, so really good to see there. Rated was 1475, so always nice when you come in above that advertised. All right, and there is that entry. It looks like you got a really good hit, and check out that entry. That is a huge star pattern so far. You can see right down in that cavity. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that out. That is a ton of damage coming through so far. This looks like we're dumping quite a bit of energy towards the first half of that block. Looks like it is settling down just a little bit towards the end, and we did make it into that second one. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here. So like always, I will cut these open later and do our cross section so we can get a little bit more accurate measurement. But for now, while we're here, it also does look like there's a little bit of a blowout here on the top. But at our widest spot, let's see, we are right at about 3 3/4 inches, just shy of 3 3/4. So that is a ton of energy coming through. So that is very awesome to see. So let's check it out from the side. Oh yeah, same thing from the side. Check that out. So it looks like as soon as that thing came in, pretty much got immediate expansion, dumping a ton of energy. It does look like that round did explode. Usually when we do test these, they do pretty much that. They usually come apart. You can see quite a bit of fragmentation going on so far. A couple of those petals shearing off, but man, it does look like it dumped quite a bit of energy that first half of the block. And it did start to settle down and flatline just a little bit towards the end, and you can see that round resting there in that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. So I'm not going to measure this pedal going down. Maybe I will, but I'm just going to get the majority of the track. But it looks like at our widest spot we are about just over 3 1/4 inches, so definitely quite a bit. And if we do measure that, going all the way down with that pedal, we're at about 3 3/4, so pretty much exactly the same from the side and the top. So always really good to see. But man, that is a ton of energy coming through. And then there is that round in that second block. It looks like it is facing upward, and at our leading edge we made it 1 3/4 inches, so that is 12 3/4 inches of total penetration. So actually not too bad, especially for that round coming apart like that. So let's set up for that bonded defense, see how that one does. All right, we're still back to 15 feet. right, let's see what we did on that one. All right, so our impact velocity on that one was 1434. So definitely quite a bit less than advertised, which is really surprising. I guess it, you know, it is and it isn't. I have tested this in the past, and we actually got right at advertised with that full size Glock 31. But you know, I feel like double tap is just kind of hit and miss sometimes. But you know, still not too bad, over 1400 feet per second. All right, so there's the entry for that one. Actually looks like we got a really good hit. You can see right down in there, and this one does have a huge star pattern, so very good to see. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that out. That is a ton of damage. Like I said, even though this is a bonded round, it really doesn't act like one. It usually comes apart, you know, quite a bit. But it does look like it dumped quite a bit of energy in that first half of the block. It did settle down a little bit, and we did not make it out of this first one. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here. It does look like we do have a little bit of a blowout here on the side, but man, the amount of damage is crazy on this one. So even though we got a slower velocity, we definitely got more damage. So this one is just over 4 1/4 inches. I believe this last one was 3 3/4, so we got 4 1/4, which is crazy. That is a huge you know, initial wound track right there. But let's check it out from the side, and same thing from the side. So it looks like as soon as this one came in, we got immediate expansion, and it looks like that round pretty much exploded in there. You can see a huge energy dump right there. Then maybe that first 6 inches of the block. Quite a bit of fragmentation also. It did settle down quite a bit, and then you can see that round there in that first block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here. So at our widest spot from the side, we're at 3 inches. So definitely quite a bit less from the side than the top, but you know, still very impressive. You can see all those fragments going all over the place, pretty much the whole way through that track. And then there, that round is, let's scoop this block a little bit. You can actually see it down in there. And let's see what kind of measurement we have for this one. So these are 11-inch blocks, and looks like we were just shy. It's basically right there at the very end. So pretty much that full 11 inches of penetration. That last one was 12, I believe, in 3/4. So just a little bit less from this one, but you know, still not too bad. So let's check these tracks one more time from the top. I'm actually going to flip the block back. I had to do a couple maneuvers with this one because I didn't want the tracks to, or the paths, you know, of the bullets to interfere with each other. All right, so like I said before, these do act very similar, even though that one is a bonded round. It usually does come apart quite a bit. So this one going away from us is the Nosler from Underwood, and the one coming towards us is the DoubleTap. So what I actually had to do was shoot them from opposite sides, just because there's so much damage. I didn't want the initial cavity to blend. It's usually a little bit harder when I do my cross sections later, but definitely quite a bit of damage. So let's check out that Underwood track. See, it came in, pretty much exploded. You can see quite a bit of fragmentation in there, ton of energy dump. Did settle down pretty quickly though, and then it did make it into that second block. There is that round. And that DoubleTap, same thing, immediate expansion, pretty much exploded. You can see all those little tracks are going from all that fragmentation, but same thing, probably carried about halfway, did settle down quite a bit, and then you can see that round resting here in that first block. So definitely really awesome to see, and you know, they both perform very well either, you know, either way you go. It's kind of like that old school 125 grain 357 SIG by Remington, the semi-jacketed hollow point, kind of that, you know, same type of performance. But anyways, let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some pretty awesome expansion. Looks like they both made it to their breaking point as well. So the one on the right is that Underwood, one on the left is that DoubleTap. So here is that Underwood, that one is that Nosler. Definitely looks like it got some really nice expansion, perfect mushrooming, but it did peel off all those petals that are attached, but they usually perform pretty well. It just sheds a lot of weight, not too much weight retention for this one, but definitely one nasty round for sure. And it's really good to see it, you know, exceed that advertised velocity. Over 1500 feet per second is no joke. But definitely a really awesome round. So hopefully those come back. I guess they're about a year and a half out from when I'm making this video, so we'll see. And here is that double tap. It does have a kind of that same gold dot in there as a spear gold dot. It's actually the Extreme XDF bullet, but man, they do not hold together, even though that is a bonded round. But same thing with this, really good mushrooming. Did shear off all the petals, not too much weight retention, but still some pretty devastating damage in that block. But like always, we'll rinse these out, get our slow-mo and all that good stuff here at the end. But definitely a pretty nasty round. So let's check them out one time from the bottom. So the one on the right is that Underwood, one on the left is that double tap. And last time from the top. So like I said, I will get our screenshots and slow-mo and all that good stuff here at the end. But definitely a pretty fun test. So there we go, guys. That one was Underwood versus double tap. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, so here's that Nosler cross section. So as always, this thing performs pretty nasty here in this gel. As you could tell, there's quite a bit of fragmentation, some huge splitting, and this gel is really barely hanging on right there. Big old chunks coming out. Same thing on this side. Huge splitting. Quite a bit more fragmentation. I did remeasure these, and we are right at 3 3/4 inches. So I believe that's exactly the same as when we're out there in the field. So I'm going to shine a flashlight just so you guys can see a little bit different on what's going on. I think it's just creating some major damage in there. So really good to see for that Nosler. So let's cut it open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom side is the right, this top is the left. So you can see pretty much immediately as soon as this thing came in, probably that 1/8 inch mark, started to open up, and you can see a huge channel going through, creating all kinds of damage. But check out that cavity. This gel, like I said, is barely hanging on. It almost flips this stuff like backwards. You know, the way it creates so much damage. Like I always say, it's like a rifle round going in and exploding in there. And the thing was definitely moving out pretty good too. You see a little bit of fabric, but quite a bit of petals and fragmentation going on there. But man, that is crazy, the amount of damage that's going on. Huge split. So same thing on this top. Came in, opened up, nice wide channel going through, and quite a bit more damage and fragmentation. You can see pieces all over the place in this stuff. Huge splitting. This one's barely hanging on. There's a little bit more fabric here on this side. Same thing, just an insane amount of damage going on. So I'm going to do one more quick angle just so you guys can see what's going on the inside. But check that out. It is some pretty devastating stuff right there. That Nosler is definitely no joke. So hopefully they bring that stuff back pretty quick, because of course they got rid of our gold dot. And it looks like they did replace this Nosler with the 124 grain XTP. So like I said, I will test that very soon. But this stuff, you know, always performs great. So there we go. That one was a 124 grain Nosler loaded by Underwood. All right, so here's that cross section for that bonded defense. So this one is doing quite a bit of damage too. You can see this huge star pattern, huge splitting. You can see looks like a petal right there, but just a crazy amount of damage. Same thing on this side, pretty much at all the corners of the star. There is a fragmentation in petals, and man, those splits are crazy. So I did remeasure these, and they are right at 4 1/4 inches. So I believe that was the same as we got in the field. So this one is definitely doing quite a bit. Like I said before, it is a bonded round, but it definitely doesn't act very bonded. You know, it does come apart just like that Nosler. So that's why I did put them up against each other. But man, definitely some nasty stuff. So I'm going to shine this flashlight just like the last one so you guys can see what's really going on. Just a massive split right there. Crazy how much damage these 357 SIG rounds are doing. Definitely one of, if not my favorite caliber. Thing is definitely pretty wicked. So let's cut it open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom side is the right, this top is the left. So it kind of looks like it was a little bit more delayed than that last round. It looks like maybe that 1/2 inch mark came in, started to open up. You can see that nice path going through and some huge splits. You can see some petals down in there, but man, check that gel out. It really jumbled this stuff up for sure. Same on this back half. You can see quite a bit more fragments and little tiny lead specks in there. But those are some very, very big splits. So same on this top side, came in, started to parachute open. Once again, you can see that path kind of going through, and really just tearing this gel up for sure. It's almost like that last one where it kind of goes in and, you know, turns it backwards. It's just crazy. But same on this one, you can see right underneath that surface, there's a couple more petals, a little bit more fragmentation going on, but definitely one nasty round. It's kind of surprising too, because this one was pretty far under advertised for the velocity. I did test this previously, you know, not too long ago, and we actually got right on. I think it was like 1524, and rated's 1525. So kind of surprising there, but it really did a number on this gel for sure. So I'll do one more quick angle, so you can see those huge cuts down in there. A little bit of that lead specks in there, but just a crazy amount of damage and cutting. But there we go. That one was at 125 grain bonded defense, and that one was by DoubleTap.